Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Coach Ben with M.B.S. Glad you joined me today. So today we're going to be talking about protein. How much, what kind, what are the different kinds, and what are the differences between them and which one may be best for you with your particular goals that you have in mind. So I have some notes here I'm going to refer to. So the first thing to address would be how much. So how much protein do I need in a particular day? Well, it really depends on two particular things. That would be your body weight and also what are your specific goals. So according to the American Dietetics Association, your recommended overall protein intake would be 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram. But if you have particular goals that you're trying to achieve, such as putting on lean muscle, then you would probably aim more towards 1.0 grams of protein per kilogram. So that's just something to keep in mind, just to give you an example with my body weight and how you would calculate that. So the first type of protein that I'm going to touch on is what's called egg albumin, and I'll put that here. So egg albumin is a very soluble protein. So it's one of the most soluble natural protein sources that you can find quite easily. It's pretty convenient and easy to come across. So what I mean by soluble is basically that once you eat it and consume it, it's one of the easiest proteins that gets directly into your bloodstream very quickly. So they call that bioavailability. So essentially, once you eat an egg, the egg white specifically, that egg white and the protein that's in it is absorbed into your bloodstream very quickly and very efficiently. So the next protein would be generalized whey, or just whey protein. So this is a pretty average protein that's very common. It's out there pretty much at any Walmart, any general store, and it's a very easy go-to. It is derived mainly from processing milk. So this is a very high-quality protein that is very easily found, very easily used, and there's definitely nothing wrong with it. It's just very basic skin and bones, and it is a great source. So the next type of protein would be what is called a whey isolate. So the difference between the whey and the whey isolate is basically during the process, certain peptides are removed from the whey. That way the amino acid chains are in smaller chunks and easier to absorb and easier to digest. So basically what this means is that, similar to the egg albumin, it gets into your bloodstream much faster, so you're able to recover from working out and start that repairing process much more quickly than just the generalized whey. So the next protein that I'm going to put here is called casein. Now, this protein's pretty interesting as far as how it works. It is processed from whey and milk and cheese. So this particular protein has many peptide bonds. So it works in a different way from, no pun intended, it works in a different way than whey protein isolate or egg albumin. So the idea is that it has many more and a much stronger bond in between the individual amino acid chains. So what happens is whenever you eat it and absorb it into your body, it stays in your intestines for a much longer duration. So essentially what it acts as almost a time release. So throughout your digestive tract, a little bit of it breaks down, a little bit of it breaks down, and then you get a long duration, an extended time release of a protein source. So an application for casein would be, if you're bodybuilding, for example, you would more than likely drink a casein protein shake right before you go to bed. That way, when you're sleeping, your body has a very consistent elapsed time frame to absorb protein while you're sleeping. And just in my own personal experience, the consistency of casein is just so chalky. I've only taken it a few times, and it was just a bad experience. But the last but not least is what's called a protein matrix. So throughout my time in the gym and whenever I am using a protein supplement, I generally use Synthesix, which an example is going to be here. Definitely not advocating for that product in particular or anything like that, but basically what Synthesix has is what's called a protein matrix. So it has 6 different protein types in it, and it's all mixed throughout. So it will have egg albumin, it will have the whey protein, it will have the isolate, and it will have a little bit of casein in it. So it's kind of a do-it-all protein supplement. So it's very versatile, and you can't exactly go wrong with it. And the same thing with General Whey. If you just are trying to increase your lean body mass and just lifting weights in general, whey protein or whey protein isolate, there is nothing wrong with it at all. And that's a great choice as far as starting out or trying to increase your overall lean protein intake. And the same goes for a protein matrix. You can't, in a general sense, unless you are like a collegiate athlete or you're bodybuilding specifically, you really can't go wrong with whey protein isolate, or a protein matrix. In my experience, you can go wrong with casein, especially if you don't find one that has a very good consistency. But that's just my own personal experience. There's nothing wrong with casein. It works very well at what it does. Just in the past, I've tried it once or twice, and just the consistency is like blending up some chalk and pouring it in your cup. So anyway, guys, that's all that I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the information presented here, just to go over some basics of some valuable protein sources to help you reach your goals. And I will see you again soon.